Hello again. This is Island Emory on the 9 in the Little Grass Shack in Las Vegas. I've got a special guest today. We got Noble Richardson. How's it, bro? How you doing, bro?
Good, good.
Right on. Now, Noble, I've heard through the grapevine you're an artist. Obviously, you're in the community. You work with kids, but now you came to Las Vegas, right? You came to Las Vegas for education, right?
Right.
Right. Now, you went to UNLV. What high school did you graduate from?
Baldwin High School in Wailuku.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right on. So, so for coming to Las Vegas, kind of, get a, I guess higher learning. But did you really want to kind of leave Hawaii, or it's like, hey, I'm out of here. I just got to get off the rock. You know what I mean? Kind of venture out, or it's like, oh, you know what? I could have just went to community college or something. I'm Maui.
I mean, hey, like right now I'm at my parents' house because they got better reception than I do at my house. So,
Okay.
I'm here now using their 5G, but it's kind of ironic you asked that question. This is the place, this room, this is it. I wanted to leave this so bad.
Really?
And the home front wasn't ideal for any youth. I was gonna say child because that's when we're in high school, we still children to this world. And I wanted to leave this real bad. Follow my girlfriend, she was already out there. So, easy decision, fail or make it, I knew I'd be somewhere. So, the higher learning, you said higher learning, it was an opportunity that art and football gave me. UNLV didn't want me for football, but football allowed my passion to push me out there. I wanted football first, not art.
Mm.
And I actually bounced around Southern California, Saddleback College, played JUCO there, and Orange Coast College, played the second year there, and then bounced back to UNLV, got a walk-on, and made the team.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
like you said, it wasn't a hard decision to leave home. And as I can hear the chickens in the back, I missed that, bro. I missed that, bro. A lot of people can understand, just like little things like that. Chickens, going off in the back. I missed that, you know what I mean? But, for you coming out to Las Vegas and then literally, with the UNLV, where the art inspiration come from? You said, football, but then, now kind of, because everybody looks at, for local people, local kids, they use sports, they use sports to get out, right?
Yeah.
And that or security,
That was me.
So, but no, the art side is just it's so interesting that you ventured into art. How'd you get into that?
Kind of two things. There's the young part. I just had this conversation with this program we're doing. It's called the Summer Intensive. It's with the Queen Liliuokalani Trust.
Uh-huh.
And I'm talking to this student, and he ends the session with that felt like a therapy session, and I had to tell him, like, I had the opportunity to learn in college, and one the first thing I learned was everybody's story was a therapy session. So that's where the art begins. It was a way for me to deal internally with whatever stress. Everybody has their own levels of stress. Mine seemed a lot high in comparison to my peers, but it allowed me to deal with that internally so that I could exist on the same wave as them and not lose it. But football allowed me to take the aggression out. And so football pushed me to get out there. And then once I was out there, I always had it in the back of my head that, I would finish the degree. That's nothing. I could always, and I say nothing, just college is not easy.
It's not.
It's not. But for me, once you could get past that sophomore stage and move into the art, now it was like almost like I'm manipulating college.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like I get to choose my own art classes and I'm doing art. So, you know, I mean, I'm going to get graded and get my degree through art. So it really was a no-brainer. If it wasn't for that, I don't know how college would actually pan out for me. But yeah. It just I always thought art would be something I could put on the back burner, focus on football.
Right.
And I know I'm putting a lot of focus on football, but really that's what brought me out there. So I just knew I had a clock, you know,
right.
age-wise and all that. And I didn't want to be, you know, the OG sitting back and being like, I could have played here, or I could have hit harder. You know, I wanted to put myself to the test and know, shit, could I have hit harder or played along the lines of these guys? On that end, I was pretty satisfied with myself, but I always pushed it on the back burner. But it was, you know, working with guys like, you know, Keela, West, like, you know, Ahu, all the guys that talk to you, you know, Big Pat, like these guys would always, you know, be like, bah, why you not doing art? And these guys would always push me every job. Like, I mean, you know how it is with the nightclub industry, you jump. hey, you balling if you got like 3 years at a spot.
Yeah.
But if you like me, I was always pushing that. I was the guy that pushed the envelope for the team. And, you know, my lifespan was about a year. So I've been through a lot of, you know, eventually Noble has to leave again. But it allowed me to meet different minds and mindsets. And, you know, there's always like, sorry, long-winded, but they would tell me, you know, what you doing? How come you're not pursuing art? Or, you know, your paintings is so nice. Why don't you tattoo? And so finally, through Island Warriors, good brother Kaiser, he had a friend. He had a friend, Kevin Ramos. If Hawaii folks out there should know Kevin Ramos.
Yeah.
And you know, I went to every shop possible. There's you know, other guys that was making it and this and that. And the first thing they slap in your face is, you know, do you actually draw? Do you like drawing every day? Do you have a portfolio? And of course, me, yes. Here's my portfolio. The moment I showed a lot of these shops the portfolio, they were just like, oh, yeah, you know, I just remembered we're not looking for nobody.
Oh, wow.
You know, like, okay. Yeah, so, you know, it was discouraging. But then Kevin Ramos was just like, yeah, you know, we jumping on. We want to make a Hawaii team, and I'll teach you. And so I apprenticed with Kevin. And ever since then, like, that was the first jump. So tattooing actually pushed me into tasting, like, you know, through art skills, I can make a living. And so then I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. For that reason was it became a trade. I can go to your house, somebody's house. I can be in a shop. I can make money if needed. And but sitting down every day and drawing in the tattoo studio ended up showing me, like, you know, how come you're not painting? so then it pushed me back to painting. And then, like, it was always tattooing, art shows, and art shows would go this way and that way, teaching, and, you know, hey, we got this opportunity. So art just began morphing, but the pursuit was coming home.
Right.
Yeah. Like, we had somebody that was sick in the family, and it brought us back home. So after 10 years in Vegas, you know, I was just like, let's just go take care of the fams. We got back, and then, you know, art was always my crutch, you know, something to lean on. And the teaching thing, that was a hard one to get into. Do you want me to go into that?
No, we'll talk more about that. But, you know,
okay. So I can go on and on. I'm sorry.
No. But that my thing is that you came out here, you ventured out. You know, you ended up, you know, with Kevin Ramos opening that door and giving you, you know, a chance, a shot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, how'd that feel, man? Because, you know, a lot of people, like, man, they're set on something, and then they get the, you know, one door closed, another door closed on your face. I mean, how'd that feel, bro? Because, man, it's hard, man. It's hard, especially, you know, independent artists, you know, going after, you know, the dream, or just trying to get a job.
Yeah. Super hard when I was in Vegas, just because, you know, football is when we first came out, a lot of doors shut in my face. Just, who has Maui Boy played, and that was always the thing. And even when it came to nightclubs, I was always looked at. I got the tattoos and stuff, and
Right.
local boy. I came off straight local boy, so it was just like we can't put him on the floor. This guy go punch somebody. We can't do that. And so it's always like, and the guy who didn't give me a chance. I'll say this. It was OPM, and I say this because I love him now. But he saw that in me. He was just like, he's just too edgy. And I'm glad he gave me that training wheel start, roaming the malls of Caesar's Palace first. It allowed me to engage better. And but yeah, he was one of the shut doors in my face, but love him now. He taught me a lot. Max, good brother. But yeah, all these doors that shut in your face, it sucks.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pursue what I love, which was art and football at that time. But to pursue art and your passion throughout life is just, hey, if it's good, right? But you know how it is. It's who you know.
Yeah.
Vegas is Vegas.
And it's what it is, bro. It's not what you know. It's who you know.
It's who you know. And the other thing that made it hard was being in the nightclub industry. I mean, you're getting doors slammed in your face and people telling you got to give free and then build up and, all this is how it starts. But, you're in the nightclub industry and it's just like, why even try when I'm doing all this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, okay, though, you fast forward, you have to go home and, help the family out, like you said. Did you really think, like, did I want to go back home, or did you think that I started something in Vegas, I want to kind of continue to write it out, or you just said, I'm ready to go back home and then go from there?
Yeah, I saw Vegas as I adulted out there, so mm-hmm. I had a lot of family, like the Island Warriors, man.
Yeah.
It just
that was brothers. Family. Yeah, it's all brothers. Everybody feels different parents, but when you guys came together, it's a ohana. You know what I mean? So strong. Yeah. If you fall down, they're there to help you up. You know what I mean? And just like the football team they are. Nobody get left behind. How's that? Everybody eat at the table. And that's one thing I kind of enjoyed. Obviously my kid played for Island Warriors too, so everybody kind of how you say, congregated around the Island Warriors because it was that I guess you could say an institution for a lot of local people that were single, and I had an out to like become family or introduced to their family because you figure Island Warriors built out when high school here. Liberty High School became the hub of Polynesia, and until this day,
who go away from home.
Pretty much until this day, Coach Nua, he's still the hall monitor, and get plenty of opportunities for Polynesian kids because they go through that program. And I totally understand what you said about family, but obviously this family, you had to move, leave this family behind, and then you ended up going back and taking care of your own ohana, right? Yeah,
and to touch on just because you mentioned Coach Noah, I played for the Island Warriors on that semi-pro team, which. Right. Hey man, that was good fun.
So proud of
you. Johnny with the cigarette in the mouth, like hey. There's a lot of stories, but I blew my knee out first game of the season, and I was having so much fun. This was like finally, I just left UNLV and I could do my thing with them, but blew my knee out. And long story short, I'm just mentioning this because Coach Nua, they fronted me a lot of money to get by because they knew I was going to be out and I couldn't work and all that. So it's just like, and not that money, I just never had love like that. Mm-hmm. And, to receive that at a young age was just like, that's family. And so without a doubt, I could, like deep.
No. I've been there. I've seen it,
And so that I just knew I still have a home in Vegas, even though I know if I step foot there right now, like it just, I look around, I'm like, it's not the Vegas I remember, but that's just physically, mentally, everybody's in the same heart. It's almost like, how everybody calls it the ninth island. Um, you know me, I'm just going to be too cool to call it ninth island. But what I see Vegas as is like, it's an embassy for aloha.
Sure.
It exists there. Like that's where we can be. And I like, I don't want it to just be Vegas. I want to see that aloha. I want to see more embassies across. But that feeling is what allowed me to go home and be like, let's go handle some stuff. And if we don't like it, we can always go back. It's if we can go back.
Right.
But once we touched down, I was in a different mindset this time instead of visiting, and I didn't want to leave. Like I just couldn't leave. Hawaii got me back, and
right. No,
it wasn't letting me go.
Yeah. First the food, then the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
You get your tight knit, the family, but when you start venturing out with your cousins, and, your own stomping grounds. I totally get it. But for you to come up to Vegas and literally get a taste of the mainland, you know what I mean, and then even adding your contribution to Island Warriors or just the spirit of law, or like you said, an embassy, or becoming an ambassador, and then now taking that mindset back home to literally, teach. And I kind of tell a lot of people that when they go home, it's like, I've seen a lot of kids that when you're at UNLV first year, and then they go back home because I miss the ocean. Like, hey man, the ocean's still gonna be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The food will still be there, but sometimes I get it. Homesick, I get it, but. Now, with you, going back, and now you get to kind of teach people, you know what, you should venture out, because you experienced it firsthand. And with art, I know you're doing a lot of stuff in the community. Now, how'd you get into the community side with art,
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. So, like, I think being a sponge, being in art, it allowed for the intuition to pull out of me and gather things like a sponge. And it was actually working alongside a lot of these guys we mentioned in nightclubs where it's the idea of just soaking up game. Right. And so that, I think that skill set coming home, and I teach this to the youth all the time, is like, go out and come back, sell out, sell back. But when you come back, some of us cannot sell out. So teach us what you know. Get to that structure that we all know as aloha, the Hawaiiana, whatever, just that culture. Take that, but I want you to, transgress that into something new. Show me new. I like new, but do things for us. So it's the idea of gaining that knowledge, coming back and sharing. But that was always there, and I wanted to give back to this school I work at, Wailuku Elementary, and I had a art enrichment program that would pull me out of 4th grade and 5th grade classes every hour, the last hour. And mind you, I did that because it was pulling me out of class. But so anyway, I went back. I wanted to give back, and they had this ugly Matson container right on the Mayday field. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let me paint that for you guys. Like, I've done 2 Maydays since I've been home, and I can't stand looking at that rusty thing. Let me paint that. And then, the principal was like, well, let me, how do you want a job? And I was like, no, you don't got to pay me. I'll paint it. And then it was a job to teach. And she's just like, I think you got a lot to give back. And this woman saw something in me that, like I said, most doors shut in my face just because of the profile.
Right.
And I get that because I was in the job of profiling. So, you know, I don't get mad when people roll up windows sometimes. But anyway, so she saw something, and then you know, I had to talk with the wife, and I was like, I can't. I was like, I don't know how to deal with that. Like, you know, like all I knew was it's this way or not. If not, I'll help you get out. Like, you know, that I was nightclub. That was it. Like, that's all I knew for job wise was nightclub. And I gave it a shot, and those kids, man, they bring you back nostalgia. I mean, it was my stomping ground. So I'm watching kids play the same games I did, steal base with the slippers and all that.
You mean the action?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not how you hold it. You gotta put it right there. So, and then I get to see my niece and nephew running around, and you know, my nephew looks like me, so, and he has my name, and I'm hearing kids yell "Noble" on the playground. So all that brings you back to the core of an artist, where they always say, you know, it's the child that never left. Mm-hmm. And so here I am, just gaining more of that memory. And so it just interacting with kids, man, they're pure. They tell it how it is, and there's no BS.
Yeah.
They're my coworkers, and it's all honesty. You know, I got that booger, they're gonna tell me.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. That's good. They're not gonna let you wear them.
Yeah. So that's all that also. I love it.
So the piece right behind you, did you paint that? The paint behind you?
Yeah, that's from college. I actually just took that off just now to put that up. I had an older one from high school, and I was just like,
No, man.
So that's actually from high school too. This was sophomore year in college. Local boy, man. I just wanted to show him.
Shit, bro, green ball.
Look, you know. Yeah.
So you become an educator. How long have you been educating at Wailuku Elementary?
I'll be going on my 5th year.
5th year.
Yeah, and that's crazy to say for me.
Well, because like you said, you jump around.
Yeah. I'm not kicking people out of house in nightclubs anymore.
Right. Now,
no,
so you're an educator, and then I see a lot of work that you've done. I think on your Facebook page with art. You know, I mean, painting murals on side of buildings. Also, you know, it's kind of reminds me, you know, when you watch the old school, you know, LA, in LA, all the murals and stuff like that. And when I saw your art, I was like, wow, you're a local boy representing. You know what I mean? I just have to ask the people when you paint those walls, they give you permission? I just have to ask.
The defining factor: is it graffiti or is it street art? Because hey, man, like I've seen some graffiti that is just epic, and but yeah, it's permission. These guys gave permission.
You see all those school.
But hey, you know, the encouragement for that. Like I've always seen murals and always thought, wow, it's a different push. It's a bigger ball game, a pricier ball game because you're talking about like, you know, the things to execute the job, scaffolding, stuff like that.
Right.
And so it was never a thought because just to cough up that money. But then the more I got knowledgeable about it, and then there's events, and which, to be honest, and I'll say that straight up, it's a give and take. Sometimes the events have a Pono reason and they want you to do a wall. But then maybe somewhere along the lines, there's that person who owns the wall who's not doing it for that or that, but just for the free mural. So, hey, it's how much you want to give and how much you want to give back. But bottom line for me was, you know, when these art groups travel, like Oahu has powwow, and that's every year for them. And then they have all these people that come around the world and come together and they jam. We just, sometimes they ask permission to come into Maui. Maui's real tight about right. Yeah, you know, we real sensitive.
Yeah.
And so we knew these guys was coming in, and I was already just beginning to start doing murals. And the mindset for me was always, like we got to welcome them in, they come into our village, let us welcome them in. Not only that, let me be part of this. And there's no way I could walk the streets of my town and see all these murals that went out without anybody from our home. Mm-hmm. And so, we gathered, we was like, we all got to get together and we got to be part of this. Either we all can do our own walls or be on one. So that was the whole teamwork, jamming on one idea. And you know what? Shout out to Prime, Wahoo. I haven't met him yet, but that guy's off the grid. He's inspired me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I see. You already know in Las Vegas we get the Gallery Last and Wyland, and from what I told, they all live Maui.
Yeah.
Does the art community there? You guys all get together, or what? Or is it like, oh no, you from there? You know what I mean? You don't see.
Yeah. They get their own moku.
Yeah. That's not right. I just say, well, when you talk about art, you want to express yourself. You express yourself as community, So it's like, I figure that art community should be tight there because there's not that much artists. I don't think
it's a delicate community.
Okay.
When we're taught, any of us who have the higher education, we were all taught how to produce art, but none of us was ever taught the business part of it, which shocks me that college don't have that. But I guess that's why you got a double major and pay for more classes.
I'll marry into something.
Yeah. But some of these guys carry that. Some of these artists that move to Hawaii, they carry that. They carry I got, the master's from Chicago, or I got this and that from an art institute or College of Arts, and that's great and all. But what it boils down to for me is, there's a voice that we all have. There's, the accent we carry to the end of time. That same thing is in our culture. Our culture has an accent that cannot be mimicked. And when mimicked, you can tell. Like, I can tell when your heart is saying the kind incorrectly.
Right.
And so that ends up creating pockets of ideology. But like you mentioned, Lassen, he's a local boy. He's from Maui, went to Lahaina Luna. That's about all I know. I've met people that know him. I went to high school with his nephew, a couple of them. Yeah, that's all the homies. But he comes from a different time. Him, Robert Nelson, the Well people.
Yeah.
They're from a different time when it was almost like record deals where artist was given that platform of a gallery and we'll produce you, we'll make your prints and all that. The times have changed. It's no longer the goal to get there. Now it's totally entrepreneur art. And that's why you're seeing a lot of murals, a lot of classes, a lot of different things happening, and especially the explosion of tattoos. It's more lucrative for a guy to just put down the paintings and pick up the machine, or stick with the machine. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I see I always say Maui too. It's a very desired place to live. From a mainland point.
Oh yeah. And it's like a lot of the artists, they're like 70 years old and they're like, I want to retire out here and paint. Like, yeah. Me too.
No, I would think the art community would kind of rally together and kind of perpetuate the culture of what you're doing with the kids, the new generation. Give them something to aspire to in the future. And what you're doing right now is like, from what I hear, is like, you're living a dream, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, it's sometimes not monetary, but yet you could be teaching the next Picasso. You know what I mean? That's kind of stuff. I think, and then for you to kind of pick up projects and literally donating your time and working with kids, and not just an educator, but you're a therapist too. You know what I mean? A lot of people come to you with probably some strong emotions, and And next, here's a paintbrush, and create something that would what you vision. And man, and I applaud you for doing what you do, bro. That's
right on,
honest, bro. And no,
right on.
I mean, what's in the future for you, man? I mean, what Noble Gallery or what? I mean,
that what I just read maybe about a couple months ago. It was like an old newspaper or something like that from high school, and that was my goal to have my own gallery.
Wow.
I was like, oh, hey, I'm on the same path.
No, but I think with that gallery, you have all these helpers that you inspire, and then literally create.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to generate. And I really art a lot to music. If I want to tell my story, you gotta have your own gallery, because it is what it is. If the gallery, and no disrespect in Lahaina, wants you're in their house. They want you to paint what they want, right? Mm. And they know what sells. Even though I'm like, no, this will sell. I'm telling you, they're gonna want this, and they're just like, no, we just want to play it safe. So if you want to say what you want to say, you gotta have your own spot.
Yeah.
That's that. So opening up with the murals has been giving me a lot of voice of not just myself as a storyteller, but I'm retelling stories, and you work along with the community, and so you become a catalyst. I mean, that you can go deep on that, but you just become an instrument for your community. Mm-hmm. And we're working along with the kids. Like, my biggest thing is, I come from where they come from. So a lot of the work I've been doing is like Section 8 Maui. Right. And, I let them know, bro, I used to live Happy Valley, just like you. I know I know all your parents even and all that. And I just want you to know that, like, you can make something of yourself. You don't have to leave the island to even make something of yourself. You can still make it. Just stop. I want them to know, like, and then, like, for me, it's healthy for me walking down the streets or driving through, dropping my kids off to school and things like that. And, my kids shouting, "Oh, Daddy, you're painting." And that makes me happy.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So there's I just go with the flow. I don't really, as long as I can paint and feed the family, what more can you ask? Yeah.
No, what do you, so in the future, I mean, what do you see Noble like in the next 10 years, bro? I mean.
So like my email, Noble-isms is so Noble-isms is how it's pronounced. And, the whole ideology behind that is, we all know isms as an instrument or tool for destruction, really. Racism, classism, all those isms. And then even the part of, like, forcing something into a box. When we talk about art, you got cubism, like, oh, he's a cubism painter, or he's a realism painter. So Noble-isms is taking, my name is Noble, but the definition of it. So just the purity and just overall pono energy, and using their tools against them. So to push, like, you got consumerism can be seen as negative, but if we out there pushing good things out through consumerism, to me, that's Noble-ism, when you're sending one message. And so, like, Noble-ism is that's my mission. But and we all have growth. So no disrespect to any of, like, t-shirt brands out there who might be kind of giving me that look right now. Like, I mean, I do shirts too. I mean, like, I'm gonna throw that out there.
Hey, so, hey, work this work, bro.
Yeah, King's Cartel. That's something I started with my friend. Cartel has a negative term too, but it's the idea of grabbing hold. Like, so a lot of us are doing t-shirts that do Hawaii stuff, and we got to be careful as artists. I'm gonna say that right now. We all got to be careful, and we all got to be human. we're all young at one point as far as spirituality, so we never know where we're at in life. But sometimes you may send a message to the youth indirectly without knowing, and it's okay if your brand says this and that, and then like later on in life you feel like like mindset might change and be like, I don't know why I'm saying that, and don't have a crash, just evolve, but art is a powerful tool is what I'm saying. So that's the whole idea behind Nobleisms is taking what could be a negative term and using that and generating that to shoot out more positiveness for me right now. My focus is Hawaii. Right. And so to focus more attention on that, and not because it's like a set claiming type of deal where I just want to show everybody, hey, H-Town everywhere. But it's more of we have something to share that, especially right now in now's time, and that's aloha, and also to go along with Mauna Kea, it's kapu aloha.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to share, and then sometimes you gotta pull back and watch out, and then let them and be firm about it. Like it's a we aloha, but we're still firm. Aloha don't mean soft. Aloha don't mean give away.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
With the history that has been told, and with everything that's going in the world, and yet to me, I'm just trying to figure out, what do us Hawaiians really fit, with all these protests, and I'm trust out the protests, but I just like for you as a visionary and kind of staying to roots, what you're trying to perpetuate, man, it's very strong, because in art, like you said, somebody can pick it up, pick something up, negative or positive, but yet, I just see you painting, King Kamehameha all over again, draped in regular flowers, something like that shows power, shows the people, or even just showing a child just fishing, just fishing and say, hey, man, that's what I used to do when I was small kid time, or grabbing, or, getting lickings from your father,
Yeah. And it's pushing that storyline out there, because the youth is who needs to see it, our appeal. And a lot of them don't come from a home that even has a cell phone.
Right.
And even if that home had that cell phone, it's not like they can run over there and, go through and Google the world. But and a lot of them can't even catch the bus to go around. So we're in our pockets. I think that's the beauty of murals. Like, a lot of murals, people who are in the mural game, they talk about how they uplift, like a dingy community. Mm-hmm. Like all of a sudden, instead of like these burnt down buildings or prison looking schools, have a beautiful mural that says something. Like, right. Yes, that's great. But to me, it's these kids who aren't getting that parenting. And then all of a sudden they walking down the street and slap dead in your face is a mo'olelo.
Yeah.
And whether the story or know how to read the story or not, when that sinks in, and then when somebody's telling you some kumu or something in school's telling you the story, then it connects. Then that becomes the image in your head that's telling that story while they talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
So I think it's a good way to take hold of who we are while physically things are changing.
Right.
Yeah.
And physically we're here to do it, because you never know when a cool going to take you, so hopefully you provide some inspiration or aspiration while you live, not to get deep or anything like that. It's just with everything going on in the world, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, it is. I mean, I think everything we're doing is an example of deep. I listen to a lot of music, mm-hmm. and Kendrick Lamar, he's real inspirational to me. And I just saw Alicia Keys last night, and they were both on a Tiny Desk concert. And I think Alicia's was like put on 2 days ago. But basically both of them is both talking about like a Hawaiian proverb without knowing the proverb.
Wow.
And I think it's the connection of just the artistic intuition mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But Kendrick Lamar has something where he's just releasing where it talks about, or there's three choices: past, future, and now. And so like and then Alicia Keys was talking about that too. But the whole idea that everything exists in now, past, present, those thoughts become what reacts now. And you can't exist in the future in now because that's not possible. And you can't exist in the past with now. It's all that converges to what's happening right now. And it was just very interesting to see the spiritual connection that other cultures are aligning with.
Right.
And it's like, I think that's what I go digging for is the connection between everybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, there's just, I think we all have a spiritual PTSD that we all got to deal with.
Because all lives matter.
yeah. But also not to take away from Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Because it is like out there. I mean, like Wes, like I never saw him as a Black individual. He's just a brother, like, and that goes along with.
It is, bro.
And I'm only mentioning Wes because I just saw a video and talking to Ahu, and I love it. I love that he's there connecting with all of us on this still yet. Still riding with us, or we still riding with him. Just because, like, from my perspective, I've been gone for a long time, and to see that unit together is just like,
still going, bro, still going.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's good to point out the struggles of each culture. Mm-hmm. The way I see things, though, is the culture is the oppressed,
right?
And we all want to handle that weight, and I think we all have mentally. Nobody's running around thinking we're like physically pushed down because, if you try hard, you can make it happen life-wise. But, I get it though, for everybody's point of view. My thing is I'm gonna sit and listen to anybody's point of view. I don't care what part of the country, Syria, wherever you at that's having hard times. If we can't sit and listen to somebody else's deal, then why should we tell them about, current stuff like Mauna Kea and then expect them to put heart into that? So It's like, if we want them to listen to our voice, we got to listen to their voice. And I think that helps in the learning game too, is when we give our anecdotes. And then people don't know our culture.
No, they don't.
They don't know our history. Our own people don't know our history. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
I think
compare and contrast that can happen.
That's why I think that as an artist, that you can literally just paint that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, paint all that I said and just paint.
But the thing is that it doesn't have to be. It could be even a series of paintings that could literally mock up the history of people or our people, but they're people. And man, I see so much, Noble. I mean, I'm so glad that we talked, and I'm sure we'll be talking more.
For sure.
But if they can get your art and stuff like that, what website can they go to, or do you have a website?
I haven't gone down the road of reproducing my artwork. Mm-hmm. That's been a strange thing to deal with too, because everybody who's been my mentor has been old school style. So they frown upon if it ain't original.
Right.
Don't go in this whole world of selling prints, but for me though, it's like, I look at my wallet and I'm not gonna go out there. As much as I love art, still I'd have a hard time trading my art with someone else, let alone stepping in there and being like 10 G's, like, yeah, I want that. Like, you know what I mean? That ain't happening.
Right.
$10 a poster. we can do that.
Right.
So that is something in my future. But, you know, just the love of teaching youth and stuff like that. And, you know, shout out to Vegas, anywhere you guys at, like Liberty High School, if you got a wall.
That's funny.
It'll be dope. Hey, send me and Prime out there.
Actually, my kids go to Liberty High School, so it's a funny thing. Yeah, but they go to Liberty High School. No, man, no. Thank you very much for hanging out with me for the past hour, and I think we have other ideas that we can literally kind of collab and literally get that art into the world. So
yeah.
Hey, much more olives, man, for taking your time, bro. And well, do you have a Facebook? At least people can see you.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you look on IG or Facebook, Noble Isms, NOBLEISMS. Make sure you get that S on the end, isms. And yeah, I kind of fell back on the posting, but I'll get back in there.
No, you're busy, bro. You're busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the summer being off and COVID and stuff like that, what kind of projects you got going on right now? Are you still teaching kids, or distance-wise, or?
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. Is I had the opportunity to go bang out some murals while everybody's sheltered up.
Right.
But I took the time to spend that more with the kids.
That's good.
And yeah. So that was a beautiful result of all this. But yeah. Teaching's a weird one. So right now, if it wasn't for the Queen Liliuokalani Trust doing this online camp, I don't think I'd be comfortable with Zoom.
Oh man!
But I've been doing a lot of this lately. All right, okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're a busy man, bro. You're a busy man. No, thank you very much, Noble, for joining me right here on the 9. Again, what is the Facebook so they can check out?
Nobleisms. NOBLEISMS.
Mahalo, Noble.